These are the adventures of a temporarily out of work wife and mother. And if you watch that brief Father's Day video, then you already know that next up on my home improvement project list was this master bedroom. Other than a TV and a bed, we have not updated anything in this bedroom in the 20 years that we have been in this house. Now, we did add that desk there, but it was my daughter's old desk when we updated her bedroom. But the huge desk in the room with the hutch and cabinets, oh, we had that since my oldest born daughter was 4 years old, and she'll be 28 in a week. If you watch my closet video, then you know I hold on to things like a squirrel with a mouthful of nuts. But today, oh, I had a good old time doing demolition. I started with taking apart my entertainment center while my boy over at Mounts mounted that TV. This was a part of a huge surprise for that lady's son that I married. People often ask me, why do you call him that? Well, while he's my husband and he's the father of my children, he's also someone else's son. And he was Ricky Sr. and Jeanette's son long before he was ever my husband or them kids' daddy. We were together for a decade before we actually said the I do's, because neither of us was in any kind of hurry. And before we got married, my mother-in-law said something extremely profound to me. Neither of us knew just how big what she said was. She said, I'm gonna let you marry my son, but you gotta promise not to kill him or let him die. We both laughed, and I agreed. And I had no way to know that at 36 years old, her son was going to have a heart attack in my kitchen. And it was going to be up to me to ensure that that man did not die. See, when you're a black man and you have a heart attack under the age of 40, it's very easy for that heart attack to result in your death. Not because of the magnitude of the heart attack, but because it's virtually unheard of. Unless you have some pre-existing condition or you're a drug user. So the doctors at the emergency room spent more time trying to figure out what drugs he was using, only to find out that he was using absolutely none, than they were trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And it was left up to me and Google to figure out what was really going on. Thank God I did, because they were ready to discharge that man from the hospital. Long story short, energy drinks are not your friend. If you think that it's a good idea to drink an energy drink and then go exercise on an empty stomach, here is your sign to not do that stupid mess anymore, because it'll kill you behind. And like the fighter that I am, I fought tooth and nail and insisted that the doctor on call do his damn job and redo the test that would tell him whether that lady's son that I married had a heart attack or not. I also insisted that they give him a meal since he had not eaten all day. I informed him of what the research showed, that black men under the age of 40 who have heart attacks don't often show clear signs of having had a heart attack until 4 hours after having the heart attack. And that often with their next meal, they have a repeated heart attack. And if they have that heart attack outside of the care of a medical professional, it's often the heart attack that kills them. And by the grace of God, and recognizing that I was not going to give up, the doctor agreed to give him a meal and redo the test. And just as I expected, while he had that meal, he had another heart attack while connected to the monitors. And right before he flatlined, the doctors rolled him into trauma 1 and began doing the work to save his life. And I was right there for it every moment. And most of that time I spent trying to figure out how I was going to call that lady long distance and tell her that her 36-year-old son just had a heart attack. And it was in that moment that I remembered my promise not to kill or allow her son to die. I may have loved him, but she loved him first, and she certainly loved him best. And now, as a mother of a son myself, I know that that was not a joke when she said it to me on my wedding day. 2 days after that heart attack, her son spent Father's Day in the hospital. And every Father's Day that we've spent since that one, we spend it thanking God that he got to see another one. By the grace of God, we've had 13 more. So yeah, we celebrate Father's Day around these parts. And we celebrate him. My children know just how significant it is. They watched their father lay on the kitchen floor and visited their father in the cardiac unit of a hospital on Father's Day. And they've also helped me keep my promise to my mother-in-law. Because like most men, that lady's son that I married hard-headed as hell. And I done had to call his mama on him a time or two. On the rare occasion when his baby girl wasn't able to guilt trip him into going to a doctor or a hospital. But usually, my noonie is able to cajole him into doing what's necessary. I don't know why men hate doctors so much, but I digress. While I put together one of two corner storage stands, I had my sunshine clearing off all of the remaining furniture in the room. I got as much of his help as I could while I could, because it was his job and his sister's to keep that lady's son that I married busy while I got everything else done in this room. This is another one of those tasks that would have been better and easier completed with another set of hands, but here I was all by myself. I started this effort at 9 a.m. and I didn't finish it until I finished with that closet at 3:30 a.m. I relieved a whole lot of stress beating the hell out of that furniture during my demolition time. And this desk, oh boy, it took a whole lot of banging to get it taken apart. But eventually, I got through it. And then it was time to dust off those walls. We're not painting the master bedroom right now, but we still want the walls to look as decent as possible. And in preparation for cleaning the carpets, I wanted to go ahead and vacuum as I went along to make sure that I cleaned the areas where I was going to be putting furniture. So I put that second corner storage together off camera. And now it's time for the biggest piece of furniture, the armoire. And everybody's gone, so now it's all on me. And baby, when I tell you this was hard as all hell, I had to keep moving these heavy behind pieces of furniture. Oh my God. The instructions were in English, but it might as well have been in Japanese, because I'm telling you what, it was difficult to follow. And I told y'all before, it doesn't matter what I'm putting together. I always put something on backwards, despite the instructions, the pictures, and all that good stuff. So I have this on like 20x speed, and it's still like 10 minutes because it took me hours to do. Believe it or not, I offered to pay somebody to help me do this, and they didn't even show up. There was a point in here where I hurt my hand and my toe, and I was in tears. So I was so pissed off that I started texting people about the fact that I was doing this by myself and just how mad I was about it. But then I had to remember my why. I wasn't doing this alone because I wanted to be strong or prove that I could do it. I already knew I could do it. I was doing this alone because my kids were out with their father, showing him a good time. They'd taken him shopping and out to eat so that I could do this. The same love and attention that they'd given me for Mother's Day, they were helping me give him for Father's Day. And as difficult as this work was, it was worth it. And while we get on one another's nerves most of the time, we also make a pretty good team. We've raised 3 children, girls, to adulthood. And between the 3 of them, they have 5 college degrees. Our youngest is a freshman in high school, and he's an honor roll student. None of them have criminal records. They haven't even been arrested. And that's a big deal, considering how many times I've been arrested. So far, we are not grandparents to any illegitimate children. And again, that's a big deal, because I was a mother at 20. All 4 of our children love God. They move around in the world with respect for themselves and other people. And there is very little that I would change about the people they've become if I could. The reality is we've sacrificed a lot to give them the lives that they've had. And the unintended consequences of having done that is that they don't have the kind of resilience that we learned to have from the struggles that we endured. One of the results of giving your children a better life is that they don't learn how to get it out the mud, because they ain't never even seen the mud. They've never gone to bed hungry. They've never had the lights off or had to go to bed in 6 layers of clothes to stay warm because the heat was off. They've never had to tape the soles of their shoes back on so that they could continue wearing them. They've never had to use the emergency room for primary care. And unless and until they have their own children, they'll have no idea what it cost us to make sure that they've had everything. Everything we didn't have and more. And this effort proved that it's still in me. I still got it. It still won't stop, can't stop, don't stop. And you're going to have to come back for part 2 to see how it all worked out.